Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning. And I've got another combination out here today that I think we should see some pretty decent looking results from, because it has shown some really pretty good looking patterns the last few times we've shot it. So I don't really see a reason why it shouldn't perform through this setup either. But for the shell I've brought out here today, I've got one of these. This is a Salt Creek custom load of 2 ounces of lead number 4s over number 6s. And it is a 3-inch shell. And these stacked 4/6 loads started out being a little bit tricky to find a choke for, but after some testing, they seem to really like the 660 to 665 range. So they should do pretty well through the combination we've brought out here today. And as for the setup we're going to be running, I've got my Remington 1187 back out here again, but I've got this choke. And it's been a little while since we've seen this choke, but this is an Avian-X Crusher 665 constriction choke. And for I think it was about a $50 choke, it has shot really well with a bunch of loads that we've tested through it before. So I'm really interested to see how it does with a stacked load this time. But as for the test, we're going to do it the same as we usually do it. I have the turkey target set up downrange at 40 yards. I also have the chronograph, so we'll see what kind of speed we're running. So let's take you guys down and get you a view of this target, and I'll head up and take the shot. And then as usual, we'll take a look at our chrono number, and then we'll go downrange and see how they actually performed. So let's head over here and see how this stacked Salt Creek load does through this Avian-X Crusher. Okay, so that round gave us 11:18 through the chrono. From what I remember, that's about what we've been seeing with these loads, is low to mid 1100s. So definitely nothing out of the ordinary there, and everything looks perfectly fine. But how did they actually shoot down range? Let's go down and take a look. Alright, so now we're down here at our 40-yard target, and this is what we got. Now, first off, before we say anything here, we do have a dead turkey. There are 2 in the brain there, and 1, maybe 2 more down the spine that might have got something. So he is a dead bird. However, as we can very clearly see, that specific choke definitely hits to the left compared to pretty much everything else through that setup. So that's why we use the backers, and why you should always go out and test your setup first before you take it out into the woods. But either way, speaking to that pattern right there, that is absolutely a turkey killing pattern. You have a pretty hot core here with very even coverage throughout the middle there. I mean, that's a little bit bigger than a basketball size core area there, and there's no way that bird's going to make it through that. And what you guys can't probably see on the camera is that there is a good mixture of both 4s and 6s within that core area there. So chances are, if that pattern was centered, you would hit that bird with both 4s and 6s. As for the rest of the pattern here, as we back out, most of the pattern is in that core area. We do see a couple of little stragglers out along the edges over here. Nothing major, and nothing really that I wouldn't expect to see out of a lead load of 6s. They just seem to throw a couple flyers pretty much no matter what choke or load combo you use that has lead 6s in it. But either way, that is no doubt an impressive pattern right there from a pretty overall basic load of lead 4s over lead 6s. They definitely don't have any kind of flight control wad or any kind of waxy material holding the shot column together like the longbeard loads or anything like that. So you can definitely tell that they loaded those pretty well, because I really don't have any complaints at all about that. But if that was centered up, man, it would look a lot better than it being off to the side like that. For a stacked lead load like that, I really don't have any complaints at all about that. It would absolutely take a bird out to 40 yards any day of the week, no question about it. And I definitely am liking that combination of that load with that Avian-X Crusher. Like I said earlier, I think the 660 to 665 range is really what these kind of shells seem to like. And I think it kind of lived up to the expectations here for this one. Okay, and here's the wad out of that shell. And as we can see, it's definitely no flight control wad or anything special like that. Pretty basic, standard, 3-inch, full-length turkey style wad. Nothing too special to see. Maybe 1 or 2 tiny little pinholes, but nothing major at all. Nothing stuck down in there. It opened up almost perfectly even. So overall, nothing too special to see here. And I definitely think it did its job, because it clearly threw a pretty good pattern for us. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that performance there? I definitely don't really have any complaints about that, except I wish it was a little bit more centered up, but that's just luck of the draw, and that choke apparently shoots to the left a little bit. But either way, that is absolutely a turkey killing pattern. There's no doubt about that. So overall here, definitely looking pretty good, and I wouldn't hesitate to take that pattern out into the woods. But as usual, let me know your thoughts about it. Is that about what you expected to see? Have you shot these shells or another shell like it, or tried shells like this through the Avian-X crusher? Let me know you guys' thoughts, opinions, experiences, all that down in the comments. But with that being said, as you can see, the wind is starting to pick up, and I've still got a couple more tests out here to film for y'all today, so I'm going to get back to it. Stay tuned because we've got plenty more stuff coming. We do have a channel Instagram as well as a mailbox where you can send stuff to the channel now. I'll leave all that information in the description for you if you're interested in it. But with that being said, I'm going to jump back to it. So I'll see y'all in the next one.